All right. Happy, 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 beautiful, amazing day, accelerators and all. Bob Rakowski here out of Houston, Texas. Day after a national holiday, so Eric Worre is not having the Accelerator typical program today, but I'm going to do one anyway. So I took a course from Dr. John DeMartini a few weeks ago, and he has a module entitled The Traits of the Greats. So I thought, why don't I look at the best networkers of all time and see what lessons we can learn. So when we start looking at Dexter Yager, his lifetime earnings as of 2016, now he died in 2019, $460 million, maxed out at about $1 million a month. So here's the nice thing. Organo does not have a maximum at the top, and we have a much more lucrative plan. I think if Dexter had been in Organo's compensation plan, he would have earned well over $1 billion. But probably at the time of his death, he was approaching $500 million. So he started his career small town in Rome, New York. He was a beer salesman. I think he was making $95 a week. And by the way, he said no to Amway many, many times. In fact, his brother-in-law, I believe, prospected him. And he said, yeah, that's ridiculous. That won't work. I've got a good job. And then ultimately, he finally saw, okay, in my life as a salesman, people can pull the plug on me at any time. I don't control my destiny. I want control. And he said, you know what? That's it. This is my path to ultimate freedom. So when you start talking about being in love with your products, here's what Dexter said. The products have to be good. There's no doubt about that. But he says, I love my family enough to create a great life for them. So he would ask people, who do you love or what do you love enough to put the effort into it? Do you love freedom enough to do it? Do you love travel enough to do it? Do you have a family? Do you have a special someone that you love enough to put in the extra effort? And Goethe, that's how you pronounce this philosopher's last name, he says, big dreams have big magic. He says, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic. Now, does it take boldness to be a network? To some degree. We're going to face rejection. That's just a given. But, what's the worst thing that can happen? I listened to an audio by Mark Yarnell one time. He earned many, many millions as a network marketer. But one guy was, just devastated. He approached his best friend, and his best friend just laughed at him. And he said, you know what? Why would you even bother to pay attention to that? Would you trade places with this guy in terms of his future? Well, as the story goes, the networker that Mark Yarnell sponsored and mentored, by the time he earned his first million, he looked back at the person that laughed at him. And guess what? This person was basically in the same place of life, only 5 years more frustrated. So do you care enough about your future to progress boldly? And one of his catchphrases was, don't let anyone steal your dream. And he actually wrote the book. Think about that, Chasing the Dream. So we have a personal team member that was sponsored by Dexter, and he would always say, tell me about your dream. Well, what's he saying? Connect me to your why. Why are you doing this? Who do you love? What do you love enough to pursue excellence in this field? And Dexter said this as well. It's all about relationships. So the rule in real estate, location, location, location. The rule in business, relationships, 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 and especially in network marketing, because we have a volunteer organization. We want to have a good relationship with them, create a good relationship between them and their dream, a good relationship between them and the product, between them and the support. And then ultimately a good relationship between them and those who they are going to introduce to the business. So I found this fascinating listening to an audio from Dexter. He said, the excuses change, the excuses don't change, only the faces change. So that reminds me of wherever you go, there you are. So, if people are going to take bad habits with them, then history will repeat itself. But if you grow and you expand, well, then the empowerment can change as you change. And this was a great quote. He said, if I had to pick between a prospect who's smart and another prospect who's hungry, I'll pick hungry every time. So remember, you got to be teachable, coachable, trainable, and hungry, and that's going to get you there. And it's hard to coach hunger. And, can it come from within? Certainly. You can have some level of intrinsic motivation, something that drives you. And when it's within you, then you don't need to be motivated from the outside. And I also like this quote: my plan B is just another way to make my plan A work. So, think about someone climbing a mountain, or maybe an ant trying to go get past an obstacle. Never give up, go over, go under, go around, or go through, but never give up. And those words will lead to success if you follow them. And then he said this, he said, before every presentation, he would just basically ask God for help. Hey, God, what do these people want to know? What do they need to know? What can I share with them to get them to see that this is a better way? And then, by the way, listen. And what's the final step? Follow directions. So if you have divine guidance, that's probably a really good strategy to win every single time. So Expo's coming October 2 through 3. There'll be a small fee for that. And they learned from last year's event. Last year's event was very successful, but it's going to be better than ever. They'll have a promo pack. They will likely have new products. And remember, the best promoters get promoted. Bring your team, and you will earn a lot as opposed to going yourself and learning a lot. And we have a special on Eric Worre's GoPro. So if you go to his website, you'll find out right now the tickets are $197. Diane and I have bought over 600 tickets. You get them now for $127 while supplies last. And we are going to do an organo promotion, so they will sell out. I would encourage you to buy as many as you think you're going to need for your team. Keep in mind, if you put the money up, you will likely come through and bring people in. It's certainly a lot higher motivation. And you also get 2 free courses valued at $600. So you can contact Diane Solano or me. And I'll finish with these words. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful.